Welcome to episode 8 of How to be Creatively Productive in Japanese Morphology. If you haven't watched the previous 7 episodes, click the suggestion above. In this episode, you will learn how to combine the verb kuru with other verbs. Kuru by itself is probably one of the first verbs you learned in Japanese, and its basic meaning is to come, which expresses a movement towards the speaker. For example, 明日台風が来る. 明日台風が来る means a typhoon is coming tomorrow. Kuru and iku express movement in the opposite directions. Iku can also be combined with other verbs, and I've already covered iku in episode 6 of this series. Kuru is also one of the few irregular verbs in Japanese. Here is how it is conjugated. 来ない、来て、来る、来るとき、来れば、来い. When kuru is attached to another verb, the preceding verb has to be in the te form. For example, 見る plus 来る will be 見てくる. When combined with other verbs, kuru may express one of the following 6 meanings. 1. Movement towards the speaker. 2. Going somewhere to perform an action and then coming back. 3. Repeated action. 4. Gradual change. 5. Emergence or appearance. And 6. Annoyance. Let's start with the most basic meaning, movement towards the speaker. I don't think there is much to explain, so let's just look at a few examples. 花ちゃんが走ってくるのが見えた. 花ちゃんが走ってくるのが見えた. I saw Hana-chan running this way. In this example, 走る to run is combined with 来る, resulting in 走ってくる. It expresses the simple fact that Hana-chan is running towards the speaker. ボールが飛んできて頭に当たった. ボールが飛んできて頭に当たった. A ball came flying and hit me in the head. In this case, 飛ぶ to fly and 来る are combined. So again, the ball flew towards the speaker. How about the second meaning? Going somewhere to perform some action and then coming back. This usage of 来る implies 2 movements. First, going away and then coming back to the original position. 午後は雨が降るらしいから午前中にスーパーに行ってきて. 午後は雨が降るらしいから午前中にスーパーに行ってきて. Since it is going to rain this afternoon, can you go to the supermarket in the morning? In this sentence, 行く to go and 来る are combined, which you may find slightly confusing. Imagine a woman saying this sentence to her husband. They are currently both at home, and upon hearing this sentence, the husband will leave the house, get some groceries, and then come home. So his journey consists of a movement away from the speaker, some action, and then a movement towards the speaker. Here's another example. 今日の授業はここまで。宿題として39ページを読んでくるように。今日の授業はここまで。宿題として39ページを読んでくるように。This is it for today's class. Make sure you read page 39 as your homework. In this case, 読む and 来る form one phrase. This sentence is likely said by a teacher talking to his pupils. He is instructing them to go home, read the page, and then come back for the next lesson. The 2 examples we've just seen clearly involve movements in 2 directions, but sometimes movements are only implied. Consider the next example. ちょうど半額だったからこのパン買ってきたぞ。ちょうど半額だったからこのパン買ってきたぞ。I bought this bread since it was 50% off. In this case, 買う to buy and 来る are combined. However, we cannot be sure that the speaker went from position A to position B, bought the bread, and then moved from position B to position A. So in this instance, we could say that this kuru expresses the concept of doing someone a favor, as in, I bought this bread for you. If this sentence didn't have kuru, and instead if it was このパン買ったぞ, I wouldn't get the feeling that the speaker bought it for the listener, and instead he would just be stating the fact that he bought it because it was cheap. However, I asked a friend of mine for her interpretation of this contrast, just in case, and her interpretation was different from mine. Here's what she had to say. She felt that 買ってきたぞ sounded like this person just happened to find a bakery on his way home from somewhere else, and decided to buy the bread because it happened to be cheap. In other words, buying the bread was optional, and he didn't have to do it. On the other hand, 買ったぞ sounded to her like the speaker looked at different kinds of bread and chose this particular bread because it was the cheapest. That is, he left home with the intention to buy some bread. Also, it is worth noting that my friend didn't mention anything about the speaker buying the bread for the listener. In these ways, our interpretations differ slightly. You have probably realized by now that it can be difficult for native speakers to articulate our intuitions, and that our interpretations tend to vary. Next, the third usage of kuru deviates from its original meaning. Kuru, in this sense, can express a repeated action. Sentences including this kuru are usually translated using the perfect aspect, to use the technical term. An example sentence would be, これまで散々言ってきたことだが、もう一度言う、あの犬に触るな。これまで散々言ってきたことだが、もう一度言う、あの犬に触るな。I've said this countless times before, but I'll say it one more time. Don't touch that dog. In this sentence, you, to say, and kuru are combined. This kuru cannot signify a movement, since it just wouldn't make sense. So instead, it means that the saying action has been repeated many times. Here's another example. いろいろな患者を見てきたが、ここまで重症なのは珍しい。いろいろな患者を見てきたが、ここまで重症なのは珍しい。I have examined many patients, but it's rare to see someone with such severe conditions. In this example, 見る to examine medically and kuru are combined. The repeated action in this case refers to the doctor having performed several medical checkups. Now here's the fourth meaning of kuru, namely gradual change. Consider the following example sentence. だいぶ日が長くなってきたね。だいぶ日が長くなってきたね。The days have grown much longer, haven't they? In this sentence, なる to become and kuru are combined. If you've been to school, you should know that as we approach the summer solstice, each day gets longer. This change in duration is so gradual that it is imperceptible to us. Another example. 喉が渇いてきた。喉が渇いてきた。I'm getting thirsty. In this case, 乾く to feel thirsty and kuru are combined. The transition from being hydrated to feeling thirsty typically occurs gradually and unconsciously. Now, how slow does the change need to be? For instance, imagine trying to melt a bar of chocolate. Depending on the method we use to achieve this result, it could take less than a few minutes to melt it completely. For example, if we put it in a preheated oven, it will likely melt in under a minute. Given this consideration, you might say that a change happening within a span of less than a minute cannot be said to be gradual. However, as with many other gradable concepts in natural languages, there is no precise cutoff point that determines exactly how long qualifies as gradual. So you can think of the fourth meaning of kuru in the following way. The change we are describing can be extended in duration as long as there is some delay or wait involved. If we say チョコが溶けてきた, this implies that it had taken some time, perhaps a couple of minutes, before we saw the chocolate beginning to melt. In other words, there was a delay prior to the onset of the melting. It would be quite unnatural to use this sentence if the melting started and finished instantly. To give you a better sense of exactly how the addition of kuru impacts the connotation of this sentence, let us contrast it with some other sentences that look similar. First, if we simply say チョコが溶けた, it means that the chocolate has already completely melted, and this sentence contains no information regarding the duration. Another expression, チョコが溶けている, can be ambiguous. It can mean either 1. That the chocolate is currently in the process of melting, or 2. That we are currently looking at a puddle of chocolate. Either way, we don't know how fast it is melting or melted. How about チョコが溶けてきている? By combining both kuru and iru, it can convey the idea that the chocolate, after some time, started melting and that we are currently observing it as it melts. Yet another expression, チョコが溶け出した, focuses on the onset of the melting process, and it means that the chocolate has just started melting, while チョコが溶けきった, in contrast, focuses on the end point. That is, it says that the chocolate has finished melting. The fifth meaning of kuru is emergence or appearance. That is, someone or something comes into existence or comes out of some place. Here's our first example. なくしたと思っていた婚約指輪が出てきた。なくしたと思っていた婚約指輪が出てきた。I found the engagement ring that I thought I had lost. In this sentence, 出る to exit and kuru are combined, resulting in a new meaning, namely, to turn up unexpectedly. So there is a sense of emerging or appearing from somewhere. Another example. 生まれてきた男の子は太郎と名付けられた。生まれてきた男の子は太郎と名付けられた。The boy who was born was named Taro. In this case, 生まれる to be born and kuru are combined. The newborn was certainly not lost in this example, but rather, this kuru expresses the idea that he came into existence or into this world. Finally, There is one last meaning of kuru that is often unacknowledged in dictionaries. That is, the meaning of annoyance. This final meaning is similar to the indirect passive construction in Japanese, which I talked about in my series on the Japanese passives. Just like in the indirect passive, this kuru conveys the feeling of being annoyed, or more abstractly, the concept of being negatively affected. Let's take a look at examples. あいつまた電話してきたよ。あいつまた電話してきたよ。That guy rang me yet again. Here, 電話する to make a phone call and kuru are combined. This kuru adds the sense that the speaker was subjected to the exasperating experience of receiving multiple phone calls from someone they feel an aversion to. Here's another example. 電車に乗ってたら気持ち悪い男がジロジロ見てきた。電車に乗ってたら気持ち悪い男がジロジロ見てきた。I was on a train and this creepy guy kept staring at me. Miru and kuru are combined in this sentence, which conveys a strong sense that the speaker was distressed and disturbed by the male passenger's incessant stare. This is the end of this episode. See you next time.